So, the Epic Game Store is the newest big gaming controversy right now. Well, one of the newest anyways. And I thought I'd kind of share some of my opinions on the matter, because it is a big deal. Regardless of what a lot of people want to say about it, it actually does affect a lot of people, and it leads to a precedent, a very dangerous precedent for the future of the industry that I'm not exactly sure on. So, first of all, I guess I should just explain what's going on. So, Epic, the company behind games like Gears of War, but more recently, Fortnite, they have their own PC distribution service that they've previously used specifically for Fortnite on PC. So you can't get Fortnite anywhere else other than the Epic Games Store. So more recently, they've opened it up to to third-party developers and are letting people put their games on the Epic Store, which is fine. Having more storefronts is not inherently a bad thing. In fact, by just the general definition, it could lead to more competition. Make these other storefronts start improving themselves in more important ways that some of them have been slacking on in the past. And it's not a bad thing to give people more options, inherently. The issue starts arising when Epic Games starts paying for exclusivity, whether it be on games that were previously announced for Steam and other platforms, or be it new games that are announced that are then announced later on that they're going to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store, even if it is only temporary. Like, I know a couple of the big ones are only going to be 6 months or a year before they hop over to Steam, GOG, and other services. But that's the precedent that's going on right now. The issue with this stems from the fact that a lot of people either feel lied to, misled in the case of games that were previously announced for Steam and then transitioned to the Epic Game Store later, or they're just upset with the state of the Epic Game Store and don't want to see everything being fragmented like this. Typically, Steam is the go-to place for PC gaming. It's the most feature-rich, platform on the PC gaming platform. It is also the ones with the most games and the most amount of people, so that's typically the standard that's being set. Now, Steam has its own set of issues that it's been trying to combat and trying to really find their modern footing, and they have other issues that I would love to see addressed. And in an ideal world, Epic Game Store would make Steam look at themselves and improve. But what's happening is Steam isn't getting challenged, they're just being outbid, if that makes sense. The Epic Game Store has a lot of problems. It's lacking all of the core features of Steam and the other platforms, like even GOG and freaking Origin and Uplay have more features. They have wish lists and friends lists and all kinds of stuff, group settings, and just like Epic Game Store is super bare bones. The only thing you can do on there is buy games, which is theoretically what the purpose is, but using these storefronts basically denies you access to Steam features like groups and party chat and all kinds of the Steam specific stuff that it has. People like that stuff, and they don't want to see it go away just because some company paid more money to get their game on the store. People also like having their games in one place. I know people bring up the exclusivity of Microsoft and PlayStation and Nintendo games all the time when they're talking about the Epic Game Store versus Steam debate, and I don't think that's similar at all. In fact, most of the games that are exclusive to Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox are exclusive because they're made by Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. It makes sense for Fortnite to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store because Epic made Fortnite. It does not make sense for Borderlands 3 to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store because they're not choosing to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store. They just got paid money to not be on Steam. If that makes sense. And essentially, the fact of the matter is, yes, PC gaming is one platform. You can play Borderlands on PC when it comes out. That's not the problem here, so to speak. So it's not like you're being denied access to the game. You're being allowed access to the game just under a much crappier circumstance, if that makes sense. Think of say you have an Xbox and you really want to get the new Assassin's Creed, right? Say you're a big Assassin's Creed fan, you've been following the series since 2007, and you go to pick up the new game and they say, well, you can't have this game right now, but what you can do is you can go down the street, because this is a Walmart exclusive, and you're not allowed to use Xbox Live features or take screenshots or do any of the external features. The only thing you can do, you've lost access to all of that for 6 months. The only thing you can do is launch the game and open it, and then that's it. And then on your way out of the Walmart, you get hit in the knees with a baseball bat. So that's your only chance to play the new Assassin's Creed. You'd be pretty upset. And that's what's happening with the PC crowd. Essentially, they're not upset because they can't play the game on their preferred platform. They're upset because they're being allowed access under a much worse circumstance. The Epic Game Store has a lot of problems. One of those problems is actually pretty big. It's been recently found that the Epic Game Store is spying on your Steam data and on using your files on your computer and tracking those. That's not good. That is not a good look for Epic right now. They've since denied it and said all kinds of stuff, but the proof is in the pudding. There's factual evidence that says that they're storing your data, and people don't like that. So people have naturally uninstalled Epic Game Store from their system, which unfortunately denies them all access to any Epic Store exclusive games from here on out. People just won't buy a game if it's going to be on the inferior Epic Game Store that has all these issues. They can fix a lot of things, and that would be great, but the fact of the matter is, in the state it currently is in, the Epic Game Store does not have even half of the features of Steam, not even a quarter of the features of Steam, not even a quarter of the features of like Origin and Uplay, which are considered super bare bones and really bad services. Like, Epic Game Store doesn't have some basic stuff. That's where the problem lies. Would I like to play Borderlands 3 on Steam? Absolutely, but I'm not going to. I am going to get the game on PS4. That kind of is my solution to the problem. Not having to use the Epic Game Store, but having to use the inferior platform. So I will play the game still on PS4, and I plan on getting all of the games that have been announced for Epic exclusivity deals. I will be getting those on PS4. The ones that are not coming to any other platforms, though, that's the tricky one, because the games that aren't coming to the consoles, I might just have to wait for. Who really knows? We'll see. Hopefully Epic Game Store can get their ducks in a row and be like legitimate competition, because some of the other things they provide to developers, like a larger cut of the purchases made, and a much less like cluttered storefront as well. Those are good things. Those are two things that the Epic Store does better than Steam, giving you a bigger cut of your earnings and having a much less cluttered store full of all the junk and the asset flips and the indie games and stuff that people don't care about. It is nice to have a storefront that does not have those things, but unfortunately just the other features of Epic Store, it's just not enough. It's not enough, and with all the negativity and all the aggressive play of just outbidding Steam and just trying to get these games all knocked down, all it's doing is really upsetting people. I don't think that review bombing games on Steam is the way to go. No, that doesn't work. But I do think that this route that Epic is taking is not helping anything. I know that they're just trying to get their foot in the door, get people to install their, get people to start using their service before, they add all this stuff. But you gotta make a good service first. The people will come if you provide a good service. As of right now, they're just not doing that. They're not providing a good service. In fact, they're providing a negative service and giving you a worse experience in the meantime. So that's all I really have to say on the matter. I think this whole situation just really sucks. And I completely understand the people who are upset. I also understand the people who are saying it's not that big a deal. Game's still on PC, you can still play it. Yeah, but that's not the point. that people are trying to make. So I just feel like that's a very disingenuous argument if you try to say, like, yeah, the game is on PC. Yeah, we know the game is on PC. That's not the point here. The point is just, you know, what Epic is doing, the service they're providing, is just not good enough. So some things need to change. Hopefully we get there soon. And I guess PC crowd will get a chance to enjoy Borderlands 3 in April 2020. So anyways, that's been all from me today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay classy.